There's something that blocks your confidence, your happiness and success more stubbornly than anything else. And it's something that is super challenging for most people to deal with. In this video, I'm going to talk about what that is, how you can deal with it, and how you can even master it. The block that I'm talking about is unwanted, difficult emotions and feelings. Psychologist Dr. Joan Rosenberg, who's the author of a book called 90 Seconds to a Life You Love, How to Turn Difficult Feelings into Rock-Solid Confidence. She says that if you can experience and move through just 8 unpleasant feelings, you can pursue anything in life. And she lists those 8 emotions as sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration, and vulnerability.
What's the point of your existence?
Feel. Because you've never done it, you can never know it. But it's as vital as breath. And without it, without love, without anger, without sorrow, breath is just a clock ticking.
Given how miserable these emotions make us feel, is it any wonder that most of us try to deny or suppress them? You might push them away and distract yourself by social media or some other form of media, or avoid these feelings by actually not talking about them, or avoid the people who are reminders of those emotions and feelings. You might numb the pain by gambling, comfort eating, or substance abuse. Some people might project their shame, disappointment, or rage onto others by blaming them for their life's problems, or even provoking fights with them. I've grown up in a culture where whenever an awkward feeling or situation arises, the solution is always to just ignore it or let it go. But the reason for that is because those unpleasant feelings and emotions actually take us outside of our comfort zone. That's why you might want to run straight back into familiar territory and lock the gates firmly behind you by resisting, by avoiding, numbing those emotions and feelings. The thing is, we're not really taught how to deal with our challenging feelings. Rather, we're conditioned to believe that anything other than happy is somehow for losers. So when residues of unwanted feelings from past traumas surface, or when unexpected events happen in life, like an important relationship breaking up, or you're diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, or someone that you love dies before their time, it can feel like life is punishing you, like you're being persecuted. Somehow, these types of scenarios throw up feelings and emotions that are really, really intense, and it seems like they're just too much to bear. They might even break you. It's not just events either. People in our life can also throw up emotional challenges for us. Unfulfilled expectations that we have of others or that they have of us can drive up disappointment or anger or just unhappy emotions. The problem is, we don't want those strong, unpleasant feelings. In the Yoga Sutras, Sage Patanjali calls them chittavritti, fluctuating waves of thought that take away our peace of mind. And we want those feelings to go away as quickly as possible. This is because we believe that it's those difficult, unpleasant feelings that are the cause of our suffering. But actually, that's not true. The initial root cause of our suffering is not that we have feelings that we don't like, but how we interpret them, what we make them mean. And the second source of suffering is that we resist those emotions and feelings. Our suffering stems from our resistance to them, not the feelings themselves. And this is because what we resist persists. But how? What we resist persists by bringing up the same unwanted feelings. This is because the subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you like and what you dislike. It only picks up on the emotion itself. So if you don't like someone being angry with you and you'll resist that person, you'll avoid them. But what percolates through to your subconscious mind is not the like or dislike of anger, but merely the general theme of anger itself. And that's why what we resist persists, because subconsciously we keep attracting and recreating more of the same of what we don't want. Ultimately, those emotions that we resist become subconscious blocks. They suck up so much emotional energy, so much emotional bandwidth, that there's literally no room to experience the more pleasant emotions that you actually crave and wish for. But there's a cost to not dealing with difficult emotions. Costs like a loss of confidence, a loss of happiness. It keeps you from succeeding in the areas of life that really, really matter to you. The cost is inner freedom, being yourself and being true to yourself. As human beings, we're designed to experience a wide and rich spectrum of emotions, from primal fear to bliss, and every single octave in between. While avoidance tactics might lessen the pain of those unpleasant feelings temporarily, the bigger cost is that it keeps you from being able to feel the more joyous emotions: enthusiasm, lightheartedness, intimacy, feeling connected in relationships, and so on. So what's the solution? Well, it's the magic A's. There are 2 tools of consciousness for dealing with challenging emotions and feelings. And the first one is awareness, and the second one is acceptance. Let me explain. Awareness is consciously observing what you're actually feeling, getting present to what you're feeling, without controlling it, manipulating it, or judging it as good or bad. But when it comes to acceptance, I've noticed that there's a massive misunderstanding that people have about what acceptance actually means. Firstly, let me clear that up for you. It doesn't mean being resigned. It's not rolling over or giving up. In no way does it mean putting up with bad behavior. Acceptance means letting things be just as they are and just as they're not. When you accept something, you stop resisting it, you stop fighting it. And so you free up your emotional energy. And then that energy can allow in those other experiences that you'd much rather have in life. But how do you actually put acceptance into practice? Acceptance in practice is simply this: is to feel that feeling, no matter how difficult or how unpleasant. Like a fly on the wall, observe the sensations this emotion is bringing up in your body. Then feel it fully for just 90 intense seconds at a time, and it will dissolve. Accept it, embrace it, and you will conquer its hold over you. Watch my YouTube video called the 90-second rule to understand why it just takes 90 seconds, why 90 seconds is all it takes to make the difference. The moment you become aware of something, you're no longer avoiding it. Consider that your unpleasant feelings are the golden keys to setting you free from whatever it is that you're suffering. Self-awareness and acceptance are the 2 skills of emotional literacy. Practice, practice, practice acceptance, and it becomes easier to navigate those difficult emotions and feelings. Emotional mastery means not being pulled from pillar to post within your emotional landscape. Resistance is our ego controlling things, whereas awareness is the domain of higher consciousness, that free self within. Awareness is our true nature. It's who we are beyond our human conditioning. We're conditioned to believe that feeling happy is good, while grief, rage, sadness, shame is bad. Remember, all emotions and feelings are merely part of the one and the same spectrum.
Sadness, it's up to you.
Me? Sadness? Sadness? I can't, Joy.
Yes, you can. Riley needs you.
There's no joy without sadness. So if we dive into whatever is showing up in our life experience, without labeling it good or bad, only then can we move into the wholeness of who we are as beings of higher consciousness. To quote the self-empowerment author Tony Fukri, he says, happiness results from integration, acceptance, non-resistance, and allowing. Happiness is the residue of letting go of what stands in the way of recognizing our true nature, which is bound in love. He is, of course, talking about Atman, the consciousness that you are beyond your emotions, feelings, and judgmentality. Atman is pure awareness. It's the essential fabric of who we are. I believe that the key purpose of human emotions and feelings, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the duality of feeling good and feeling bad, is to steer us inwards to our true nature. Once you're ready to accept things as they are, once you are willing to step beyond the duality of good and bad, like and dislike, love and hate, you are then set free from the pain of suffering that comes from that polarity. You can then step into the part of you that exists eternally in freedom from duality. You can then wade into pure awareness, into that state of bliss that is not touched by time, space, and external experience. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got value from it, please press the like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Watch some of my other videos as well. There's one called 5 tips to go from feeling down to happiness. There's another one called 3 tips from trapped to freedom. And leave me a comment and tell me which one of the 8 emotions that Dr. Rosenberg talks about do you find the toughest to deal with? And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.